Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar, and with me is Renu Kataria with the evening news. The headlines. Campaigning ends for the single-phase assembly polls in Uttarakhand, Goa and for the second phase in Uttar Pradesh. Election Commission relaxes curbs on campaigning for assembly elections. BJP releases another list of 9 candidates for Uttar Pradesh assembly elections. Tamil Nadu government decides to reopen nursery and play schools from Wednesday. Schools also to reopen in Uttar Pradesh from Monday. Over 172 crore 29 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Motivated comments by some countries on dress code in some educational institutions in Karnataka are not welcome, says the government. Industrialist Rahul Bajaj passes away. President, Vice President and the Prime Minister express condolence on the demise. World Radio Day to be observed tomorrow. All India Radio to broadcast a 7-hour tackathon on the occasion. Indigenous Tejas Mk1 aircraft to participate in Singapore Air Show 2022. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, to get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Campaigning ended this evening for the single-phase assembly polls in Uttarakhand, Goa and for the second phase in Uttar Pradesh. In Uttar Pradesh, 55 seats of 9 districts of the state will go to polls on the 14th of February in the second phase of elections. The state is going to polls in 7 phases from the 10th of February to 7th of March. Meanwhile, campaigning has intensified for other phase of elections. Senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi today addressed a public gathering in Kannauj district of Uttar Pradesh. On the other hand, Samajwadi Party's Akhilesh Yadav campaigned for party candidates in Badaयूं and Shahjahanpur districts. Congress leader and Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh Bhupesh Baghel campaigned in Fatehpur district. In Uttarakhand, the state goes to the single-phase poll on the 14th of February for 70 assembly constituencies. Upcoming poll will decide the electoral fates of 632 candidates of the state. In Goa, polling will be held on Monday in 40 constituencies in the state. Electoral fortune of 301, including 82 independent candidates, will be decided on the polling day. Goa Chief Electoral Officer Mr. Kunal said that Section 144 has been imposed in the state from 6 p.m. today till 6 p.m. of February 14th. Liquor shops across the state during the period has also been closed ahead of the polls. However, licensed premises having bar and restaurant are allowed to keep the restaurant open for serving food only. The bar counter shall be closed and no liquor will be served. Intense poll campaign is also going on for the single-phase polls in Punjab on the 20th of this month. In Punjab, a total of 1,304 candidates are in the fray for 117 assembly constituencies. The BJP released a list of 9 candidates for Uttar Pradesh assembly elections. Kali Charan Rajbhar will contest from Zahurabad constituency against Suheldev Bharatiya Samaj Party Chief Om Prakash Rajbhar.
In Manipur, 173 candidates, including 15 women and 18 independent candidates, are in the fray for the first phase polls to be held on February 28th. A report.
38 assembly constituency of 5 electorate districts of Manipur, Imphal West, Imphal East, Bishnupur, Kangpupi and Churachandpur have witnessed a hectic political campaign for the first phase poll. The newly formed Phajol district, which has 2 assembly constituencies, is combined with electorate district Churachandpur in the upcoming first phase poll. In the first phase poll, 12,15,814 voters will decide the fate of 173 candidates. Among the notable candidates who are in fray in the first phase poll are Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, Deputy Chief Minister Y. Joy Kumar, President of Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee N. Loken, Speaker of Manipur Legislative Assembly Y. Khemchan. The voting will be conducted at 1,718 polling stations. JJ Thoksom, AIR News, Imphal.
In view of the decline in COVID-19 cases, the Election Commission has relaxed the provisions of campaigning in the poll-bound states. In a press release, the Commission said that the ban on campaign timings in poll-bound states will be between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. instead of earlier timing of 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Political parties and candidates may campaign from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. by following all COVID-appropriate behavior and protocols of State Disaster Management Authority. The Election Commission further added that political parties and candidates are now permitted to hold their meetings and rallies up to a maximum of 50% of the capacity of the designated open spaces or the limit prescribed by SDMA. It said Padayatra consisting not more than permitted number of persons and with only prior permission of district authorities will also be allowed.
In West Bengal, except for a few sporadic incidents, voting in the 4 municipal corporation elections ended peacefully today. The State Election Commission said polls were peaceful throughout the day. Quick action has also been taken in the case of 1 or 2 sporadic disturbances. The Commission is also looking into the allegations of firing at Jamuria in Asansol. A policeman is injured in a stampede at a polling station in Asansol. According to the State Election Commission, a report has been called for the incident. Over 172 crore 29 lakh doses of COVID vaccines have been administered in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive so far. The Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said more than 46 lakh 82,000 COVID vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The country reported over 50,000 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Currently, India's active caseload stands at 6,10,443. The ministry said more than 1,36,000 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours, and the national recovery rate stands at 97.37%.
The Tamil Nadu government has decided to reopen nursery and play schools from 16th of this month. The government has also allowed trade fairs and increased the number of people attending weddings from 100 to 200 and funerals from 50 to 100. In a press release today, the state government said that COVID protocols have to be followed in all events. The regulations have been extended till the 2nd of March. The decision was taken at the meeting led by Chief Minister M.K. Stalin to assess the COVID situation. Meanwhile, in Uttar Pradesh, in view of the declining trend in COVID-19 cases, the state government has decided to reopen all schools from Monday. Additional Chief Secretary Home Avnish Awasthi said the necessary order in this regard with instructions in detail will be issued soon. In Meghalaya, Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangama today flagged off 6 specialized mobile vaccination units at Tura Civil Hospital, Tura, West Garo Hills District in collaboration with the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. The mobile vaccination initiative is to administer vaccines to marginalized communities that have limited access to vaccination centers and hard-to-reach areas. The mobile vaccination units will also create awareness followed by vaccinating hard-to-reach tribal and rural populations by taking doctor-based mobile vaccination clinics near the communities. In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Bipin Dubey, Manipal Hospital, Dwarka, New Delhi, will be with us today to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on telephone number 011-2342-1230 and 011-2342-1764. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
In Ladakh, the incidence and mortality of cancer cases is on the rise. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research's cancer registry data, the incidence of cancer cases in Ladakh reported a rise consecutively for 3 years from 2018. Replying to a question of Ladakh MP Jamyang Shering Namgyal in Lok Sabha, Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia said that the centre is providing technical and financial support to Ladakh under the National Programme for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Diseases and Stroke as part of the National Health Mission. The minister also said the treatment for the poor and needy is either free or highly subsidized. Dr. Mandavia said cancer treatment facilities, including chemotherapy, are available in the district hospitals of Leh and Kargil. In Chhattisgarh, an assistant commandant of CRPF was martyred and one Jawan was injured in an encounter with Maoists. A team of 168th Battalion of CRPF was on a search operation in Basaguda area of Bijapur district in Bastar division today morning. Maoists ambushed the CRPF team near Putkel village. Naxals opened indiscriminate fire on the Jawans, leading to a fierce gun battle. In this encounter, an assistant commandant, Shanti Bhushan Tirki, was martyred while another Jawan was injured. Meanwhile, Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren has expressed grief and concern over the death of Assistant Commandant of CRPF, Shashi Bhushan Tirki. The CRPF Assistant Commandant belonged to Simdega district of Jharkhand.
In Jharkhand, a Cobra Jawan suffered serious injuries in an IED blast today at Lohadaga district and has been airlifted to Ranchi. The injured Jawan, Tomil Kumar, is from Chhattisgarh and is being treated at Medica Hospital in Ranchi. The IED blast occurred in extremist-hit Bulbul Peshrar area of Lohadaga district after a joint search operation by CRPF. Cobra Battalion and Jharkhand Police against Maoist is underway since yesterday. A 44-member contingent of Indian Air Force IF has reached Changi International Airport, Singapore today to participate in the Singapore Air Show 2022. The air show will be held from 15th to 18th of this month. Singapore Air Show is a biennial event which provides a platform for the global aviation industry to showcase their products. Ministry of Defence in a statement said that IF will be pitching the indigenous Tejas Mk1 aircraft alongside participants from across the world. The light combat aircraft Tejas will be enthralling the audience with its display of low-level acrobatics, displaying its superior handling characteristics and maneuverability. The participation of Indian Air Force in the air show provides India with the opportunity to showcase the Tejas aircraft and to interact with counterparts from Royal, Singapore Air Force and other participating contingents.
Industrialist and former chairman of Bajaj Group, Rahul Bajaj, passed away this afternoon at Pune, Maharashtra. He was 83. According to a statement from Bajaj Group, Mr. Bajaj was suffering from pneumonia and cardiac problem. His last rites will be performed tomorrow. Born on June 10, 1938, Rahul Bajaj acted as the chairman of the Bajaj Group for 50 years. He resigned as the chairman of Bajaj Auto in April last year. He was awarded with Padma Bhushan in 2001 and served as a Rajya Sabha MP also. President Ramnath Kovind has expressed grief over the demise of industrialist Rahul Bajaj. In a tweet, Mr. Kovind said that a doyen of Indian industry, Rahul Bajaj, was passionate about its priorities and his career reflected the rise and innate strength of the nation's corporate sector. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has also expressed grief over the demise of Rahul Bajaj. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said that he will always be remembered for spearheading a revolution in the automotive industry rooted in the spirit of Make in India. Condoling the death of Rahul Bajaj, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that he will be remembered for his noteworthy contributions to the world of commerce and industry. Mr. Modi said, beyond business, he was passionate about community service and was a great conversationalist. Paying tribute to Rahul Bajaj, Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari said that his death is a great loss. The External Affairs Ministry has said motivated comments on India's internal issues are not welcome. The statement came in the wake of the comments made by some countries on the dress code in some educational institutions in Karnataka. Official spokesperson of the External Affairs Ministry, Arindam Bagchi, today said a matter regarding dress code in some educational institutions in Karnataka is under judicial examination by the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. He said the country's constitutional framework and mechanisms as well as democratic ethos and polity are the context in which issues are considered and resolved. He said those who know India well would have a proper appreciation of these realities.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has welcomed the reopening of the Australian border, which will help stranded Indian students and visa holders to return to Australia. Australia is set to open its border for fully vaccinated tourists and all visa holders almost 2 years after borders were first closed due to COVID-19. Addressing a joint press conference with his Australian counterpart Mary Spain in Melbourne, Mr. Jaishankar said it will help those who have been in India waiting to come back, especially students, temporary visa holders and separated families, and this is something which is greatly appreciated. Dr. Jaishankar said the discussion with his Australian counterpart was very comprehensive and very fruitful. He said both sides looked at a very wide range of topics concerning the bilateral, regional and global partnership.
We discussed briefly today progress in our defense and security cooperation, which reflects our growing strategic convergence. The inaugural Cyber Framework Dialogue was particularly useful in reviewing our joint activities under our framework agreement. We discussed some of our shared challenges and opportunities for closer collaboration in this very important domain. We shared concerns about terrorism and extremism. We have serious concerns about continuing cross-border terrorism, and it's our shared endeavor to deepen counter-terrorism cooperation, including in the multilateral fora.
Australian Foreign Minister Mary Spain announced Maitri Scholars Programme, under which it will provide over $11 million for 4 years to support Indian students to study in Australia's world-leading universities.
We'll support mid-career Australian and Indian professionals to collaborate on strategic research initiatives. The Maitri program is a strong positive for the education sector in Australia, recovering from the economic impacts of COVID-19 as it is. I look forward to seeing the Maitri program and the Australia-India Infrastructure Forum grow in the coming years.
Ms. Payne said that Quad is not against anything. The group has a very positive agenda. It is about building resilience and about promoting a region without the threat of coercion or intimidation. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. In news just in, India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 172 crore 75 lakh. Union Health Minister said that more than 44 lakh 63,000 vaccine doses have been administered today. More than 1 crore 72 lakh precaution doses for the identified categories of beneficiaries for COVID vaccination have been administered so far. And now here is a review of this week's Parliament proceedings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reply to the debate on President Ramnath Kovind's address to the joint sitting of both the Houses of Parliament and reply by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on the Union Budget 2022-23 are among the highlights of the first phase of the budget session that concluded yesterday. The Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are scheduled to reassemble on the 14th of March during the second phase of the budget session. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the President's address gave a detailed roadmap on the measures taken during COVID-19 wave. He said that the world is applauding the efforts of India in dealing with the COVID crisis. He said the country is moving fast towards achieving the goal of 100% vaccination. He also said that there has been a record agriculture production during the corona crisis. Prime Minister said farmers got maximum MSP during the direct benefit transfer. He also said as India celebrates 75 years of independence, it is time to assess the direction that it will take when the country completes 100 years. Mr. Modi accused the Congress of divisive politics and strengthening separatism and alleged that the party believes in divide and rule policy. He also charged the Congress party with indulging in blind opposition. He replied to the debate on the presidential address in Lok Sabha on Monday and in the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday. Highlighting the development under his government, Mr. Modi said that whatever the country has achieved is by Sabka Prayas. He said, the way the Congress speaks and connects with issues, it seems it has made up its mind for not coming back to power for 100 years. The Prime Minister said, Azadi Ka Mahotsav is the perfect time to think about how India can play a global leadership role in the coming years. Both the houses later adopted the motion of thanks by the President. On the opposition charge of increasing unemployment during the COVID pandemic, the Prime Minister said 1,20,00,000 persons were enrolled under the EPFO. Participating in the discussion on the debate on the President's address in the Rajya Sabha, P. Chidambaram of the Congress charged the BJP-led NDA government at the centre with mismanagement during the COVID pandemic. Seema Dwivedi of the BJP lauded the government's efforts in spearheading the vaccination process. Anand Sharma of the Congress said the President's speech was merely a rosy picture which is being shown, but a line is being drawn that the opposition does not want the process. Former Prime Minister and JDS leader H.D. Devegowda said the budget allocation for agriculture and allied sectors is disappointing. Prakash Javadekar, Rakesh Sinha, Vinay Sahasrabudhe, Seema Dwivedi, Jay Prakash Nishad, all of the BJP, Vijay Sai Reddy of the YSR Congress, Ramdas Athavale of the RPI, Vinay Bishwam of the CPIM, Sanjay Singh of Aam Aadmi Party, Fauzia Khan of NCP, Sukhram Singh Yadav of Samajwadi Party and Ahmed Ashfaq Karim of RJD are among others who participated in the discussion. In the Lok Sabha, Bhartrihari Mehtab of the BJD, Jayant Sinha of the BJP, R.S. Verma of BSP, G.R. Reddy of the TRS were among others who participated in the discussion on the union budget. While criticizing some aspects of the union budget, Bhartrihari Mehtab of the BJD applauded Finance Minister for presenting a budget that laid out a roadmap for supporting growth. He said she needs to be complimented as she presented the budget amidst a challenging economic environment. Mehtab said the budget has a clear intent and managed to provide allocations in many areas that would contribute to making India a modern, developed and inclusive nation. He, however, said that sectoral allocations have been slashed in critical sectors like agriculture and farmers' welfare, higher education, rural development and women and child development. He said reduction in Manrega is not going to help the poor. He also said there is no provision made for the urban poor.
Responding to the debate on Union Budget 2022-23 in both the houses separately, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the government has gone for a budget which stands for continuity with a simplified tax structure. Stating that a sustainable growth will ensure that India remains on the top, she said startups are being encouraged because of easy access to funds. Highlighting the importance of emphasizing digital technology in governance in the budget, she said it would ensure transparency in the governance. Finance Minister said despite crisis due to COVID-19 pandemic, inflation was maintained at 6.1%, whereas for a lesser crisis during the previous government, it was 9.1%. She said the budgetary allocation in the health and family welfare had gone up from 64,000 crore rupees to 86,000 crore rupees. The Finance Minister said the inflation management of the Modi government is robust. She said the highest inflation this country had endured was from 2010 to 2014, with retail inflation more than 9% in 22 out of 28 months. On the opposition allegations of inadequate funds to state, she said for 2022-23, the allocation is 1 lakh crore rupees in capitalizing the overall investments in the economy for 50 years without any interest burden. The government informed the Lok Sabha that the situation in Afghanistan is of natural concern for neighbouring countries like India, and in broad terms, the Central Asian countries share same concerns and similar objectives. Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan answered members' queries on the issue during the question hour. Replying to a question by TMC member Sugata Roy over the broad consensus on Afghanistan at the Central Asia Summit, the minister said the issue was discussed during the summit and the situation in Afghanistan is of natural concern for neighbouring countries like India and the Central Asian countries. The minister said India and the 5 Central Asian countries also decided to establish a joint working group on Afghanistan. Members in the Lok Sabha raised several issues during the zero hour this week. Shyam Singh Yadav of BSP demanded that there should be a Heer regiment in the army which will have soldiers from Yadav community. Sanjay Seth of BJP called for a memorial for freedom fighters. In the Rajya Sabha, members also raised the matters of public importance during the zero hour. They included Sushil Kumar Modi of BJP, Vijay Sai Reddy of YSRCP, V. Sivadasan of CPIM, Fawzia Khan of NCP, Tiruchi Siva of DMK, Priyanka Chaturvedi of Shiv Sena, Abdul Wahab of the IUML and Mahesh Poddar of BJP. The House witnessed noisy scenes when L. Hanumantaya of the Congress raised the issue of the hijab row in a Karnataka school. On the opening day of the budget session, Prime Minister Modi paid rich tributes to the singing legend Bharat Ratna Lata Mangeshkar, who breathed her last at a Mumbai hospital on last Sunday. Mr. Modi said her contribution has strengthened the unity and the cultural heritage of the country. Both the houses were adjourned for an hour on Monday as a mark of respect to the legendary singer. That's all in Weekly Parliament Review.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by the Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, Jago Grahak Jago. Reminding the radio buffs, tomorrow is the World Radio Day. Every year, 13 February is observed to raise awareness among the people and the media about the importance of radio and to encourage access to information through radio. It is also a day to remember the unique power of radio, which touches lives and brings people together from every corner of the globe. This year, the theme of the World Radio Day is Radio and Trust. And true to its mandate, All India Radio emerged as the #1 trusted brand in a recent survey by Reuters. Radio is a powerful medium for celebrating humanity in all its diversity and constitutes a platform for democratic discourse. Proclaimed in 2011 by the member states of UNESCO and adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2012 as an international day, February 13th became the World Radio Day. On this occasion, All India Radio will be organizing half-an-hour open forum from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow on FM Rainbow at 102.6 MHz. In the program, listeners can interact with the Director General of All India Radio, N. Venudhar Reddy, on the topic Credibility of All India Radio. You can participate directly through WhatsApp number 9868107070 or by dialing toll-free number 1800-111-026. So stay tuned with us.
Now let's...
विश्व रेडियो दिवस के अवसर पर आकाशवाणी के महानिदेशक श्री एन वेणुधर रेड्डी हमारे बीच होंगे और बातचीत होगी क्रेडिबिलिटी ऑफ ऑल इंडिया रेडियो विषय पर। आप भी हमसे जुड़ सकते हैं। व्हाट्सएप नंबर है 9868107070 और टोल फ्री नंबर है 1800111026। 13 फरवरी सुबह 9:30 बजे AIR FM रेनबो 102.6 और YouTube लाइव पर।
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi is likely to have moderate fog. Temperature will vary between 7 and 24 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Leh is likely to witness partly cloudy sky. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky. Visakhapatnam will have partly cloudy sky. Bengaluru will have mist. Hyderabad will have fog in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Campaigning ends for the single-phase assembly polls in Uttarakhand, Goa and for the second phase in Uttar Pradesh. Election Commission relaxes curbs on campaigning for assembly elections. BJP releases another list of 9 candidates for Uttar Pradesh assembly elections. Tamil Nadu government decides to reopen nursery and play schools from Wednesday. Schools to also reopen in Uttar Pradesh from Monday. Over 172 crore 75 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Motivated comments by some countries on dress code in some educational institutions in Karnataka are not welcome, says the government. Industrialist Rahul Bajaj passes away. President, Vice President and the Prime Minister express condolence on the demise. World Radio Day to be observed tomorrow. All India Radio to broadcast a 7-hour talkathon on the occasion an indigenous Tejas Mk1 aircraft to participate in Singapore Air Show 2022. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.